All right, guys, joining us now, and he's actually in his car. He's out there in Surprise. Jeff and I have been out there. Jeff was out there last week again. This is a name everybody's starting to know, and it's Texas Ranger first baseman / maybe outfielder. We don't know. Blaine Crim. Blaine, what's going on, buddy?
I'm good. How are y'all doing?
I'm doing good. I saw you Monday in Goodyear. I'm already back in Texas. I was covering TCU basketball last week and figured on my way back home I'd stop by the camp. But I'm coming back next week. So
okay, good deal. Good deal.
Yeah.
I might be. I'm still trying to sell my wife on it. You got yours sitting next to you. I'm trying to say, hey, I may need to jump back out, but I don't know. We may not. I'll see you. If nothing else, I'm going to see you at some ball games one time this year.
No doubt. No doubt.
So where did you guys play today?
I played the Mariners in Surprise, just in a backfield game.
Okay. Yeah, those Mariners backfields aren't great. So
no.
You have to go over there.
Yeah, I'm glad we got. I think it was my first day actually. Like had a at-home minor league backfield game this year, so it was kind of nice.
You know, I saw somewhere you doubled, didn't you?
I did. Today was a good day for me. Today was good.
What all did you do?
I was 2 for 4. I had a bases clearing double in the first, and then I grounded out. Had a homer my my third at bat, and then struck out my fourth.
Wow.
The ball must look huge.
Strike out, you might get released. I don't know.
Yeah.
So, I mean, the Mariners and have one of the best farm systems in baseball. Or at least that's what it's rated, and you guys have been now caught up to them. So that's a pretty good little battle. I know it's spring training, but there's talent on that field. I bet
they got some pretty good arms. I faced them last year, and I think in Frisco they came to us, and I think Frisco opens with them again this year. And I got some buddies on the Mariners, and of course they got some big name guys, especially on the mound that we've faced that are, they're not easy at bats, but they're fun. So I mean they're competitive. They have guys that come at you with really good stuff, but they kind of let you know where you're at in your career really quick. If you can hit off those guys, then you can hit off a lot of guys. So it's fun. I do like playing against them. They pitch backwards. So you definitely can't just go up there in spring training and ambush heaters like you can on some other teams. Like you got to be ready to hit and stay disciplined against those guys. So it was good.
Yeah, back when Ron Washington was the manager, he always talked about how he played winter ball every year. One, there's a financial component to it, but two, he always had to win a job, and so he wanted to be clicking on all cylinders and ready to go when he got to camp. You played in Puerto Rico, and it ended a little earlier than a lot of winter balls, but do you still feel like you're in a groove that you were in out there?
Yes and no. Personally, I feel like if I'd ever take like 2 weeks off of hitting, I might as well have just taken 6 months off. Be it, just because a leg kick is a big part of my swing, that can be the thing that is tough with timing. But mentally, I feel like it was great because I was able to just kind of roll into spring training game ready mentally, and my body feels great. I didn't have too much of a physical toll on my body out there as much as I thought I would. So, I mean, I rolled into spring training. I feel like game ready to go. It was nice to be eased back into it, but yeah, I mean, I went down there for the same reasons, I guess, as Ron Washington did. Number one, for the experience, and then of course financially, and to kind of, I thought I was going to get to play some outfield, but I didn't. I didn't get to do that at all. I mean, I got to practice with some really good guys out there that, kind of taught me some stuff that I'm able to take over here if I ever do get to play some outfield. But it ended up being a great experience. It'll be one of those things where it's kind of after each season, I'll have to kind of evaluate where my career's at each time. So we'll see. I'm glad I did it. I'm glad I did it though.
Yeah, I didn't put this in the story I wrote about you, but you You said it's like every game is like Game 7 of the World Series. This kind
Yeah,
of
it's crazy.
yeah,
It's crazy. It's just, I mean, especially for the native Puerto Rican guys that are there, like there's guys that only play in that winter league that, maybe are retired, or some don't, some have the opportunity to go play affiliate baseball and they just don't. They just kind of, there's a league that's going on right now in Puerto Rico that they stay and play in, but the winter league is the league. And, they really take pride in that, and they have very high standards, especially the team I was on. And winning was the only option, and it was a good thing.
yeah.
But the culture there just thrives on baseball, and the fans love it, the people love it, the staff, was great, but they also let us know like the pressure that was on us to win there. And so it was, from the first pitch of the game to the last pitch, it didn't matter what game it was win at all costs. And it's a business as well. If you're not cutting it, you're gone.
Right.
So that was definitely a different pressure that I felt. But it like I said, it was cool. You're playing, you can't get called up. The only thing you can do is, I guess, get released.
Yeah.
But you're there and you're playing for one goal. And I feel like that's kind of a mentality that I need to take over here, and not really worry about anything externally, what's going on, just worry about where my feet are.
Did your
For
wife go?
sorry, John, for people who are listening who may not know, Blaine won the batting title
Yeah.
and was the first American to do it since what, 1948? Is that right? The first U.S. player to do it.
Something like that.
Yeah. So.
Oh, the numbers were like,
Hey, 1948 is older than my mom, so by a year, but still, that's a heck of an accomplishment. I mean,
it was video game numbers.
yeah, and
Yeah.
then the players who've come out of Puerto Rico, and I know there's the argument that putting Puerto Rico in the draft has kind of hurt baseball in Puerto Rico, but then you see Francisco Lindor and Carlos Correa, the Molina brothers. I mean, you can go on and on for players who post the Juan Gonzalez and Ivan Rodriguez times who've become stars in baseball. It is different, but I mean that's that's a baseball country. That's
Yeah,
that's
it
all
is
they
for
got.
sure.
Yeah. So
Yeah, they love
all right.
it there.
So big league camp. I know it's a screwy year and you already got moved out, but what was it like for you to be in there and to have your name called to join the big league camp?
Yeah, I mean, it was, the spring training, the early camp, the lockout, just everything's kind of been so weird. And it almost, I wouldn't say it felt like big league camp, but there were big league camp vibes, I guess you could say, with the staff being very hands-on with us the first few weeks of mini camp, which was, I think, kind of took the pressure off me going into big league camp. But at the same time, there's guys I'm really close with, like Davis and Josh Bosque, and some pitchers that have been in that environment that are comfortable with the big league guys and know them and have relationships with them. On my end, I had never really had any relationship or interaction with any of the big leaguers before. So that was kind of the thing for me, was I didn't know what I was supposed to do when I got there. I didn't know if I was supposed to just sit in the corner and be quiet and just fill in when I'm supposed to be there, or if I was supposed to be trying to pick these guys' brains or what. So that was kind of what was really cool is the guys that are up there, made me feel like I was just one of them. It wasn't, hey, this is the new guy, blah, 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 all the things that they could have done. A lot of them approached me, had genuine conversations with me about, not just baseball, about my family, about my wife, where I'm from, just everything like that. And that was just really cool to see. And just to see, kind of be a fly on the wall of how those guys go about their business, and kind of their preparation and their routines and their work ethic, and what they do hard and what they, take easy on during spring training, is just very eye-opening. There were times I went to the cages not even hit. I kind of just brought a bat out there to make it seem like I was hitting, but I just really wanted to watch.
Sure.
And I feel like I do feel like I learned a lot. You know, Simeon was very open and, you know, hit with me a few times, would come and hit in the cage I was hitting at, which I didn't think was a thing. I thought those guys would do their own thing at their own time and all that kind of stuff. But, you know, we talked about hitting. Apparently we have some of the same struggles at the plate, talked about it, worked on it. And it's just, you know, that was just one of the things that happened that I can remember, name off the top of my head. But, you know, of course it was shorter than I guess a normal big league camp would be, but it was great. I mean, it was great to be around those guys. You know, I'm happy I'm getting my at bats now to be ready to play on opening day. But, you know, even though it was a week, it was still a great experience.
Yeah. Do you have they given you any thoughts on where you might open the season?
No, they haven't. I'm kind of trying not to worry about it.
Yeah.
I worried about it a lot last year, and I feel like it affected me early on in the season. And then I feel like when I performed well during the season is when I kind of took that mentality of just being where I'm at and just taking it game by game. So that's the big focus this year, is wherever it is, just kind of taking it day by day and just trying to win that day.
My dogs are barking.
Oh, you're good. You're good.
Okay. Yeah, this happens every once in a while when the player that they love is on, they start to get going crazy over there. So
that makes me miss my dog.
Hey, so hey, let me ask you this: in Puerto Rico, did your wife go to Puerto Rico with you, or did you just go down yourself?
So Puerto Rico is the scheduling of Puerto Rico is very crazy for me. My wife and I got married in 2020 in December. So our original honeymoon in December got canceled because of COVID. And then the plan last year was for us to take another honeymoon over Thanksgiving. And after Thanksgiving, I was going to go play in Puerto Rico for the rest of the season that they had. Well, like I said, the financial aspect of it, once some of that stuff was ironed out, we decided that it was better for me to go as long as I could. And so the honeymoon got canceled again. And then we had plans. So my wife's a soccer coach at North Greenville, and their season kind of ran into the middle to late November.
Right.
And it just didn't work out for her to come before the playoffs. And then I came home for Christmas. After January happened, she was going to come to the Dominican if I made it to the Caribbean series, and we didn't. So she was not able to make it. And plus the vaccine mandate was pretty tough down there.
Yeah.
She wouldn't have been able to come to a game even if she was down there. So that was tough. That's the tough part, was, you know, being away in my off season when I'm supposed to be at home and actually have the luxury of being married. But it, you know, I think it was a sacrifice on the front end that hopefully pays off on the back end for us.
Now you like you mentioned Foscue and Smith, who are also married or engaged. So it seems, and I talked to Cody Bradford. Seems like and Davis and all you married / engaged guys live together or to each other. What's that like afterwards? Kind of like, because you're not in the village.
No, it's great. I mean, I like, you know, Josh Smith. I got pretty close with him last year after the trade. Foscue, same thing. You know, we got to spend a good time last year together. I'm actually in his wedding coming up, so we're close. But of course, you know, I think the girls get pretty close being in the stands and, you know, being a part of this journey as well. And this is actually the first time that my wife, Katie, is going to be able to travel with me somewhat this year. And so she was very excited about that. And, you know, living with 7 people it's an experience for sure. It kind of feels like we should have like a reality TV show or something going on, because we got Jax Biggers, who's the one single guy that's kind of the glue that holds everybody together.
Just put him in a walk-in closet. He can sleep in a closet.
Yeah, he's pretty much is.
Well, but Josh's wife is big on the YouTube and Instagram scene.
Yeah, social media
Maybe
scene.
she could come up with something.
Yeah, I'm sure some people are getting the inside of what our lives are like, but it's kind of, I'm sure all of us would rather live alone with our wives like normal people, but I think that we do a very good job of making the most of it, and it's a great group. And for me, being at the field as long as I am each day, knowing that Katie has some friends that she gets to spend time with and enjoy Arizona with is nice. But it is tough. Like today, we're Katie's about to fly back home in a few days, and so we're trying to spend as much time alone as we can, which is not at the house. So we're just trying to find things to do.
Well, and I know from experience that hotel rates are outrageous.
Yeah,
and,
yeah.
Yeah, so as long as you can get away, I mean, shit. I mean, the Airbnbs are expensive. I mean, I was just in one for this last trip. It was in the top of a guy's work shed. It was a real nice apartment, but it was like sloped. The roof was sloped, and so it slanted. And I mean, I'm not a monster. I'm 6'1", but like I kept hitting my head on the ceiling.
Yeah.
But I don't have that problem.
That's what I'm doing to save the company some money. And
yeah,
it's a real thing, man. We're working stiffs out here, and
it is. It's tough. I mean, I know it was a long process for us to find a place out here, because I think a lot of the places were booked pre-lockout before, thinking that spring training was going to be normal. And I think we had 2 or 3 places that we had set up, and then right when we go to book it, apparently somehow it booked that day. So I mean, we got lucky with a place, but like you said, it's not cheap.
No, it's not.
Yep.
Okay, so I mean, obviously, I guess the major leagues is now a realistic goal for you. I mean, I know we talked about how this was kind of an experiment out of college, but now, dude, it seems like things are bubbling.
It is. It's pretty surreal in all aspects. Like I told you that story about my wife and I. That's kind of like a perspective thing that's pretty. It happens pretty often, and it's easy for me to take it for granted and not realize like what's going on. And I think when things are going well for me is when I realize like any day now this could end. And I could have been one scout away from not being at my game at this certain day, from not even being here. And when I don't think about those things, I lose sight of how awesome this is. And that's what is a great thing about my wife, is she does not let me lose sight of that, because she was a phenomenal athlete and had the chance to play professional herself and sacrifice that for us. So that being in big league camp was crazy. I got 1 inning with Seager on the field, and him throwing me the ball, I was like, this is wild. And then, even Davis and Josh and, those guys like that I'm playing with, that I see as very good friends of mine. I watched them on TV when I was in college, and, I'm like, dang, these dudes are studs. And now I'm on the same field with them. And it's just, it's crazy to think that it's for a professional baseball organization in a big league setting, and that it's, like you said, a somewhat realistic goal now. And it's just beside me that's what it's come to.
Yeah. Well, you're doing great, man.
Yeah.
I mean,
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, John here will ask you some more fun questions than I do. Although these have been fun. No, it's not like I've been grilling you. So
no kidding.
This is great.
Well, it's fun. You made me look good, because so I do a little top 20 prospect thing that I've done for the last few years, and I've been with Jeff now for a year. And mine is always, I have a preface with mine, and it's that you can never have played one day in the big leagues to be on my list. So, but I put you in there year before last at like number 16. And I don't know that anybody had you in the top 20, and I did. And I was watching these numbers and I was going, watch this guy. And then you made me look good. And I'm like, I slept on him. I'm telling you, I was watching these guys' numbers. So you made me look good. So I'm proud of you, man. I'm happy. Now listen, okay, we're going to have some fun here. So I've got that you were born in Mobile, Alabama. Is that right?
That's correct.
Where did you go to high school?
I went to St. Paul's.
Is that in Mobile? Mobile?
Yes. It is a football school for sure.
So you went to high school in Mobile, Alabama. So
I
that
did.
leads to a great, since it's a football school. Did you play any other sports when you were in high school or growing up?
I played football for 1 year, and I got tossed around like a rag doll. And I thought that I was, going to be this SEC baseball stud. And I was like, I don't want to get injured. And I was kind of soft. So I quit after that year. And I was very underdeveloped. I didn't develop until later in my high school career. So I quit after that year and actually only played baseball. So, I like to think that I'm athletic. I'm not really as athletic as I think I am, but I wish I would have played football. I'll put it that way.
Did you know Bubba in when you were little or younger?
Yeah, we played on the same travel team.
Okay, I
No
didn't know.
kidding.
Yeah, so he's a year younger than me, but he's 2 years younger than me in school. And so from the age from like 9 to 12, 13-ish, we played on the same travel ball team. And he was like the underdeveloped, just really fast kid that was, you could tell he's like an athlete. His cousin was on the team as well, and his cousin played Division I football, was a freak athlete as well. And so, Bubba was a player, like he contributed, but I blinked and he's a first rounder. And he's still the same kid. He still has fun like he did when we were 10 years old, 11 years old. He's the best, one of the best teammates I've ever had. And I'm very glad to see him succeed the way he is right now. And I hope nothing more than him, to get the call up this year.
That's awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty interesting.
And Mobile's a baseball town. I mean, I know.
Yeah.
Hank Aaron, you don't get much more baseball than that. I mean,
And I mean, Jake Peavy went to my high school.
Okay.
And Destin Hood played in the big leagues for a little while recently. Yeah, actually,
he was in Rangers 5 or 6 years ago. So I love Dustin Hood.
Yeah, so awesome. he went to my high school as well. So I mean, we have some baseball guys, but football wise, we had AJ McCarron, Jacob Coker, and Mark Barron, and Jalen Arbor Davis, who are all national champs at Alabama. And then we had, a national champ at Auburn. We had an Under Armour All-American every year I was in high school. So,
all right.
And they were pretty good.
Yeah, our favorite, one of our favorite vacation spots is Fairhope.
Yeah, my parents are
is that beach?
So Katie and I actually got married in Fairhope.
Is that right?
Wow.
Yeah.
At the Grand?
Close to the Grand, and a
Okay.
lot of our families and people that came in stayed at the Grand. And after our wedding night, that's where we stayed. And then my parents are actually, their house is almost done in that neighborhood. So
is that right? Gosh, I told my wife that's where we're going to retire.
Oh,
yeah,
man.
that's what they're doing. They got their dream house, so they're
right on the bay. Man, I told her last time we were there, this is it.
Yeah, my wife's all of her bridesmaids stayed right there on the bay. Like 15 of them in a house. It was pretty sweet.
Nice.
Wow. Okay. All right. Now you went to Mississippi College. That's where you went. Did you have a chance to go anywhere else? Anybody else offer you?
I had some junior college looks, and then I had some Division I looks that were, hey, we're gonna come watch you, blah blah blah. They came and watched me, told me I was underdeveloped and needed a couple years before they thought I would be ready. So when it came down to like crunch time, where I thought it was the time where I needed to commit, I only had Mississippi College and North Alabama, which is, they're Division I now, but my first 3 years of college, they were actually in my conference, and they offered me as a pitcher primarily. And I had a quote unquote chance to try and hit, but they didn't think that was in my future. So it was kind of a process of elimination in Mississippi College.
All right.
Okay, now let me ask you this: if you grow up in Mobile, Alabama, I mean, did you grow up? Was your dream? Did you want to play for the Crimson Tide? Is that what you wanted to do? Or?
No, So my parents went to Auburn for a year, so we were Auburn fans growing up. But I was like a Vanderbilt guy ever since I could remember, just because I was somewhat smart, thought that I could have the best of both worlds there, but I quickly realized that was not in the picture. And so it went from SEC probably my freshman, sophomore year, and then going into my junior year, I was like, all right, well, maybe I need to think more like South Alabama or Southern Miss was very, very high on my list. I wanted to go there, like Louisiana Monroe, schools kind of like that, but it didn't work out, but it did work out.
No, it did.
Hattiesburg is right up the street, or kind of.
Yeah.
Hattiesburg's not far, and then Clinton's what, a little bit north of that?
Yeah. So Clinton was 3 hours from Mobile. It was like perfect drive. Very easy drive. It was great.
So
I remember Clinton because it got hit by a tornado.
Yep.
Yeah. Probably about what, 10, 15 years ago now.
Yeah, and that's why everything's pretty new.
Yeah, that's what they have to when they. Okay, so listen, you got drafted in the 19th round of 2019.
Mm-hmm.
So I love this question and love this answer. Where were you when you got drafted, and how'd you find out you'd been drafted?
I was at my house with my parents, and so my parents apparently got called on day 2 by, I'm pretty sure it was my area scout, and he said to be ready in the 10th round. They thought they were going to take me then, and so my parents are checking the iPad and their phone all day, and I'm like, what are you doing? This is not, if I go, I'm going tomorrow. And so they told me at the end of the day that, hey, well, the Rangers called, said they were going to take you in the 10th round. They didn't. So I knew early on the next day I had a shot. I had some teams call me that night as well and asked me if I would, basically take a plane ticket. And of course I said, yeah. And so I knew early on the next day I was probably going to get a call. And round 11, round 12, round 13, round 14, they kind of started going. They were going quick, but for me, they felt like they were going pretty slow.
Right.
And so I think after the 18th round, the Rangers didn't take me. I put the iPad on the kitchen table, and I was fixing myself some food or something because I hadn't eaten all day. And I just kind of was like eating something, and I went and looked at the iPad, and it was like 5 picks after the Rangers picked, and I was like, oh, who'd they take? And it was me in the 19th. I was like, and my dad was doing some work, and right when I told my dad they picked me, I heard my mom in the back of the house like freak out, and apparently she was back in the back just scrolling on her phone, trying to not make me any more nervous, I guess. And
awesome.
So that was really cool. Then I got a call and my phone started blowing up right after that. So that was definitely an unorthodox way, I feel like, but it was, of course I enjoyed it.
Well, let me ask you this. So what are some of your hobbies outside of baseball? What do you do outside of baseball? You hunting, fishing? What do you do?
Yeah, I like to hunt. I like to fish. I don't get to do it near as much as I would want to, so I can't say I'm this just avid outdoorsman. I do love the outdoors a lot. I really like to fish. I got big into fishing over COVID in Mississippi, but I like golf. I'm not too good at it, but I like it. I really enjoy it. I like it, but I don't like it. My wife's gonna say I don't like it. I like being outside with my wife and like taking walks and doing stuff like that. But in spring training, I'm when she wants to go on the walks in the afternoon after a long day, I'm like, maybe I don't want to walk today.
Yeah, I don't know if I want to.
But we got a puppy. We got a puppy right after we got married. So, her name's Oakley. She's actually in training right now. So we like to take her for walks, and I like to hang out with her. So I'm not a big video game guy. I don't want, I'll get in like a Netflix routine where I, fall deep into one show here and there, but I don't watch a ton of TV or sports or anything like that. So kind of pretty simple, to be honest with you.
Where did Katie with soccer? I guess she played.
Yeah, so Katie went to Arkansas out of high school, and she was a stud. Had a tough injury there her freshman year, and transferred to Mississippi College where we met, and just tore it up. Was a first team All American, Conference Player of the Year, Region Player of the Year, almost won, NCAA Woman of the Year. So she can hold that over my head for the rest of time. But yeah, she's a stud. She's into fitness now, so I don't have any. I can't take my foot off the gas, but it's a good thing.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's good. Okay,
Yeah.
so we're going to get into the last three here. First, we're going to get into the food questions. What's your favorite
Okay.
food? What kind of food's your favorite food?
I would say I like fried catfish a lot, but that's like only my grandmother's. And other than that, like chicken wings, I could just smash chicken wings at any moment.
You can hammer them, huh?
I can hammer.
Have you been to Booties? Have you been to
I
Booties?
have been to. I have been to Booties. Yeah, I was actually in Booties when the NBA season got canceled a couple years ago.
I was there too at the same time. I was at the bar.
Yeah, well, I was there. Yeah, chicken wings. French fries for some reason are my weakness, so that's not good. But and then sweet tea is like my non-negotiable. That's my favorite. If there was one food item or drink that I couldn't go without for the rest of my life, it'd be sweet tea.
All right.
Okay, so favorite home cooked meal? You may have just said it. And who cooks it? Is it grandma's catfish, or does your wife make something? You got her next to you now. She can't hear this question, but is there something she makes? Maybe you got two of them while you got her sitting next to you.
My wife's favorite home cooked meal for me would probably be our breakfast for dinner.
We've already had this conversation. That's good.
Yeah.
Kent and I last week, we got into it.
She kills it. She kills it. So we do either the pancakes or biscuits, and then the whole bacon, eggs, all that good stuff. But I would say, the catfish is like a splurge, like once a year kind of thing, because my grandma like makes me eat until I'm in a coma.
Yeah.
But I think like my dad's a really good cook. He's really good on the grill, so I like his steaks a lot, his chicken wings, his burgers. Like anything my dad whips up on the grill is always a go-to.
You can't go wrong with steak, man.
No
Can't
doubt.
go wrong. All right, we're gonna play. Okay, so we're gonna play the home run game. I don't know if you've heard this one yet, but
I don't know if I have.
Okay, so this is the home run game. We're going to talk about 3 home runs. Sometimes you can elaborate and get a couple of them in there. First, the first home run. It is the first home run. What is the first home run you ever hit over a fence? How old were you, and where were you?
So I was, I guess, 6 years old, probably.
Wow.
6 or 7. And I think I was just on this super small field with my dad and my mom one day, just out there, kind of mess around, I guess, like you would see on Twitter or something. And, that was my mom's thing in the house. She would always throw me a ball, and I just always had one of those huge bats around.
Yeah.
And so her BP was just money when I was young. And I think one day, I just slipped up and got one in the air at the right angle, and it went out, and it was
just ran into one, huh?
Yeah, I thought I was freaking Chipper Jones. That was my guy growing up. So,
okay, second home run. One of the most exciting. Was there one in high school, college? It was a walk-off, a grand slam. You might have a couple of them you can tell me about. What's the most exciting home run you've had in your career?
I would say, I'd probably say 2.
Okay.
I think number 1 is a walk-off home run in college. It was my junior year, and it was like 25th or 26th game of the season. My junior year, I'm supposed to be a the guy in the lineup was supposed to be, somewhat of a guy in the conference this year, had 0 home runs until the 25th or 26th game, came up in a big situation on, a rubber game in a big series for us. And I hit a walk-off home run, and it was just, after that, it was, things started clicking, started hitting a lot of homers that year and kind of got the ball rolling. And then I would say another one was the same year, and it was it was kind of like a 2-day thing. It was in the conference championship, conference tournament. And I think that that week was kind of what helped me get drafted, to be honest with you. And I had 2 homers, and I had one in the semifinals and one in the finals. And it was kind of just a full circle experience. It wasn't even the home runs and the moments or anything like that. It was just, my first 2 years of college, we were, the laughing stock, dead last in that conference. And then, we come back my junior year and we win it. And
Cool.
I was, one of 3 or 4 guys that were freshmen that were kind of part of that turnaround. And it was just really cool to step up in those moments that year and, get a conference championship and kind of turn the program around. So I'll remember those.
Okay, what's the bomb? The furthest one you've ever hit. The moment you hit it, it was gone. How far you think it went, and when was it?
Probably that one I was just telling that. Yeah, it was the one. It was in the semifinals of the conference championship my junior year. It was against our in-state rival, Delta State. They were hosting the tournament, and I think it was in we were going back and forth that game in the semis. Whoever won, of course, went in. And I hit one in the 7th inning that just it kind of was one of those that just disappeared.
450.
And yeah, it was I got that one pretty good. I think the farthest ball I've ever hit might have been this last year in Hickory and Winston-Salem, though. I got one pretty good there.
Got one there too. Okay.
Yeah.
Last question. This is the fun one. We get this from a lot of guys. It's, what is something that nobody knows about you? Have you heard any of these answers we've gotten yet?
I don't think so.
Okay, so you can give these guys some crap. Jack Leiter doesn't like peanut butter. I don't get it. I mean, that's wrong.
That's horrible.
That is
horrible.
wrong. That's a Vanderbilt guy, by the way. He doesn't like peanut butter. Davis Wenzel got his finger cut off when he was 5 years old. You need to ask him that question. Talking to Davis.
Yeah.
What was another good one, Jeff? You're on mute, buddy.
We haven't had the sleepwalker on this podcast, but John, you can explain that.
Oh yeah, the Brock Burke sleepwalking. Have you ever heard those stories, man? Brock Burke,
no.
You know who Brock is. Brock walks around in his sleep, and you ought to talk to guys that have roomed with him. In the middle of the night, 3 a.m, he gets up and starts punching out pillows and screaming at people. I mean, apparently it's pretty scary. So what is something that nobody knows about Blaine Crim?
I think the only reason it's appropriate is because I was so young. But when I was when my mom was tossing me, when I was always carrying around that bat, and my mom was always throwing to me when I was younger, the only thing I would wear was socks. I was rare. Sometimes I'd have underwear on, but
you were a naked batter.
Yeah, I was just running around. I don't know. I was very comfortable with myself, I guess, but. Yeah. I was just,
but you covered your feet up.
Yeah. When my family, when people came over, it was for me to get dressed up was pretty much for me just to put underwear on.
We've all had kids and seen some of that before, but God, that's hilarious. And you're swinging that bat.
It was just a routine for me. It was, as soon as I got home, clothes were off.
Oh my gosh.
That's another good one.
And do you wear socks indoors now as an adult?
No.
Man, I do. I'm the only one I know. I wear socks to bed. I wear socks.
My wife's a bit. Yeah, I don't know if socks ever come off her feet, but
yeah,
I'm not a big sock guy.
I usually wear shoes in the house. I've got shoes on right now. I don't want to stub my toes for one reason.
Yeah,
I hate stubbing my toes.
My dad's got 7 different pair of house shoes. Depends on the day. It depends on what, if he's walking outside, coming back in. If he's just inside, he's got a pair. He's pretty high maintenance when it comes to that stuff.
I'm looking forward to seeing him over there at his house in Fairhope.
No kidding. We're going to be camped out on the beach and showing up. Well, Blaine, this has been a blast, buddy. Thanks for coming on. We're watching your numbers there. Jeff, anything else before we get him back to his wife?
Well, tell Katie thanks. I'm sorry you had to sit in your car for this long.
I will.
She's the one who took the brunt of it, but go have a nice dinner. I mean, Booties is very nice, and then
for sure.
Thanks for coming on. We'll see you next week.
Yeah, Jeff will see you next week. I might. If not, I'll see you at Frisco or Round Rock, either one, buddy.
Okay, thank you all very much.
All right,
that's Blaine Crim.